Oftentimes, being a prop master feels like you're at a grand party supplying the goodies. In this case, with the cable TV series Mad Men, which is about Madison Avenue executives in the 50s and the 60s competing in a dog eat dog world. To make it more believable, the creators use as a through line throughout the series not only the martinis and the whiskeys, but the cigarettes. Smoking is the main through line besides the suits in the series. We have Roger here and Don Draper, both in the dark bar, smoking their hearts out, as are the women in the series who aren't going to defy the times by not smoking because they're making a statement saying in the 50s and 60s, smoking being harmful to your health wasn't widely known or advertised, so to be believable, smoking has to be a leitmotif. It certainly makes the men look more macho, look more hard. They're tougher with the smoke coming out of their mouths. And the hats help, of course, and the eyes squinting against the smoke makes one always look more Clint Eastwood-like. But the smoking also helps the characters have an inward sense where you feel they're meditating or thoughtful with the smoke drifting up from their cigarettes. And as a theme in the alienated 50s and 60s, the man in the gray flannel suit, all alone, cut off from his family, smoking alone in the bar is such a great signature of loneliness. The women smoking, it adds a hardness to them, a certain competitiveness to them that foretells the future, but also makes it very American. And these women aren't soft, although they're housewives. The smoking adds a certain edge and certainly gives them a certain forcefulness, having that cigarette dangling from their mouth. And in scenes in the corporate meeting rooms, having a cigarette will confer a certain wise sense to people smoking, a certain inner irony. And when women smoke with the other guys at the bar, it makes them one of the boys. Just not only having a drink, but you light up and you smoke, you're suddenly one of the gang. So it's a way of getting the camaraderie going in the series. And also, when the women smoke, it gives them a sense of challenge, too. These might be 50s, 60s women, but when they light up, they're suddenly more forceful in character. As well, of course, more seductive. Just everything about smoking is easily a romantic prop. So all the women that Don Draper gets together with in this series, most of them smoke, matching their smoking with his smoking, their inner fire with his inner fire, and his wife, even when she dresses up, she smokes to add a certain seductiveness to the scene. And finally, the kid, when she turns in early adolescence, joins in the smoking too, because she's going to identify with the adults. And so how else but to have her smoking also, implicating in the times too that teenagers are smoking very early and getting involved in the game. And if you take your most repressed, straight-laced character in the Mad Men series, even she breaks down and joins everybody trying to pick up that horrible habit. The question is, regardless of what substances Hollywood stars might use behind the scenes, while they're on camera, they're obviously not using real drugs. So what do Hollywood prop masters reach for when they have to stimulate drug use on screen? Gillian Albinski, the prop master on TV's Homeland, reveals that Hollywood cocaine is a relatively simple combination. She says it's usually cornstarch, but you have to put a bit of baby powder into it because starch is too sticky and heavy. However, prop master Michael Bates, who has worked on films like The Dark Knight Rises, points out that they have to switch substances if an actor is actually going to snort the cocaine. He says, I've always used powder-based lactose. You can snort it for real, and it doesn't affect you. It's just a milk product. He reveals that on the set of Horrible Bosses, Colin Farrell even snorted it off camera to stay in character, which sounds ridiculously suspicious to me. Anyway, to prevent the actor from snorting too much, the inside of the straw can be coated with Vaseline, which most of the powder will stick to. Heroin is a similar combination, but Kim Slosik was the assistant prop master on The Inevitable Defeat of Mr. and Pete and numerous television series. Points out that while she uses a blend of milk powder and inositol for dry heroin, it doesn't look right when cooked in the case. Slosik says she then uses sugar and baking soda, and Bates says she uses gelatin and bouillon. In this, we see drugstore cowboy with Matt Dillon using some mixture that the prop people came up with. As for the injection part, prop needles work a lot like old prop knives. As the needle is pressed into the skin, it retracts into the tube. Pot is typically replaced by oregano, but Albinski admits that actors have tried to switch the prop with the real thing. She confesses, "I was constantly fighting to take away their real bags." Other prop masters use actual marijuana that just doesn't have the THC. Slosik points out the importance of even making bong water look realistic, remarking, "You have to make it believable. There's probably going to be someone smoking bong hits while watching the movie and they'll say, 'Why did they do it like that?' That's not believable."